Welcome back, children. Let's continue with the chapter 8, Delhi during the medieval period. After the Tughlaq dynasty, now we are going to see the Hindu kingdom of Vijayanagar in southern India. How this entire series of people, right from slave dynasty to the Tughlaq dynasty to the Khilji dynasty, how they tried to create their power over the southern India. So this entire the Hindu kingdom of Vijayanagar talks about how the power was established in southern India and how these dynasties also tried hard to establish their power. Let's understand with the chapter. Hindu kingdom of Vijayanagar. Now during the Sultanate period there was attempts to establish authority over southern India. Now slave dynasty tried to establish its power in southern India. Alauddin Khilji was the first ruler to launch an attack. He carried away enormous wealth from Devgiri. Subsequently, Malik Kafur destroyed the kingdom of Warangal. Now what happened Sultanate period? They tried to establish, okay, they attempt, but Alauddin Khilji was the first one who attacked Devgiri, and he took away enormous means huge amount of wealth from Devgiri, and Malik Kafur, he destroyed the kingdom of Warangal. The condition of southern India worsened during the time of Muhammad Tughlaq. Simultaneously, the Hindu empire of Vijayanagar and Bahmani Sultanate were also established in southern India. During the reign of Muhammad Tughlaq, the southern India's condition became very bad, it worsened, and Vijayanagar and Bahmani Sultanate were also established in southern India. We'll understand about this Vijayanagar and Bahmani Sultanate in the coming times. After the death of ruler of Warangal, the two brothers of Jadhav clan, Harihar and Bukka, established the Vijayanagar kingdom under the inspiration of Swami Vidyarayan. Now what happened after the defeat of rulers of Warangal? Now this Warangal Sultanate, this Warangal territory, this kingdom was been destroyed, and the two brothers from Jadhav clan, which clan? Jadhav clan, Harihar and Bukka, established Vijayanagar kingdom under the inspiration of Swami Vidyarayan. Now these two brothers established Vijayanagar under the inspiration of Swami Vidyanaran. Vijayanagar kingdom was established in the south of Tungabhadra river in 1336 EC. Now this Vijayanagar was established in the south where near the Tungabhadra river. Okay. With the short period of 8 years, the kingdom was extended from river Tungabhadra to Kanyakumari. Now within the 8 years of span, this Jadhav clan brothers, they have established Vijayanagar from Tungabhadra river to Kanyakumari. Bukka ascended the throne after the death of Harihar. So when Harihar was died, he was dead. His brother Bukka, he became the king of Vijayanagar. His descendant being weak, a new dynasty came to power. Krishna Dev Raya was a powerful ruler of this dynasty. Krishna Dev Raya rule flourished in southern India. So now Bukka's dynasty, not dynasty, Bukka's descendant, that means a Jadhav clan. Bukka belonged to Jadhav clan, so the Bukka's descendant, they were not very strong, they were weak in nature, and a new dynasty and the new ruler came, established its rule, and the name of that king was Krishna Dev Raya. Now his dynasty flourished a lot in southern India. Flourished a lot means succeeded a lot in southern India. He had a good relation with the Europeans and was a lover of art and literature. He constructed canals in southern India with the help of an engineer called Yomki. Now he had a very good relationship with the Europeans, and he was a lover of art and literature. With the help of engineer Yomki, what he did, he constructed canals in southern India. Foreign travelers who visited Vijayanagar had appreciated its grandeur. There were grand temples and forts in the kingdom. This glorious state was destroyed in a battle of Talikota. Now what happened, whosoever used to visit Vijayanagar, they used to be very happy seeing the grandeur of it. Grandeur means what? Greatness. This entire kingdom was very flourishing in nature. There were great temples, there were great forts in the kingdom, and glorious. Glorious in nature means what? बहुत खूबसूरत होना, बहुत सुंदर प्लान्ड देश होना, इसे बोलते हैं ग्रैंड्योर. द ग्रेटनेस ऑफ इट. ग्रेटनेस मीन्स इन एवरीथिंग. Being city would look like, or the kingdom would look like very rich in nature. Okay, so everybody was very happy. Whosoever used to visit, the foreign traveler, they used to be very happy seeing the greatness and the glory of this Vijayanagar. But this Vijayanagar was destroyed in the battle of Talikota. Let's move ahead. The Bahmani Sultanate. The Amirs in the Deccan rebelled. Now what happened, how this Bahmani Sultanate came into existence? Amir in Deccan, Deccan is a place, they rebelled. Rebelled means what? They went against, they revolted. Hassan, one of the efficient Amir, became the Sultan and founded the Bahmani Sultanate there. So what happened? Hassan, he was he founded the Bahmani Sultanate, and he was a very efficient Amir. So he was the founder of the Bahmani Sultanate. Muhammad Gawan was a capable minister and an efficient administrator of Bahmani Sultanate. So what happened after in Hassan's Bahmani Sultanate, Muhammad Gawan, he was a very what we say, efficient and a capable minister and administrator in Bahmani Sultanate. He won many territories and extended the boundaries of Bahmani kingdom. The power of Bahmani Sultanate weakened after his death. So what happened, that this Muhammad Gawan, who was an efficient minister and an administrator, he extended the boundaries, he won many territories in Bahmani Sultanate. But after his death, what happened, that the power of Bahmani Sultanate become weakened, and they become a very weak Sultanate. There were frequent conflicts between the Vijayanagar and the Bahmani kingdom. So there used to constant fights, constant conflicts used to take place between Vijayanagar and Bahmani kingdoms. After the downfall of Bahmani Sultanate, many of his provinces become independent. So after his death, when the Sultanate become very weak, many of the provinces which he brought together to extend the Bahmani Sultanate, they become independent in nature. So amongst these, the 5 provinces, 5 territories which he bought under the Bahmani Sultanate to extend the Sultanate become independent in nature, and those 5 were Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Golconda, Berar and Bidar. So these territories, these provinces become established, become independent in nature, and they established their own kingdoms. Okay, so this is about Bahmani Sultanate. Now this is the last part of the chapter, the end of Delhi Sultanate. Now over here you would come across those dynasties and those sultanates that we have already talked about in this chapter, but 2 or 3 kings, name of the kings and sultanate would be there, which came in between the establishment of these sultanates, okay, that we have talked about. The sultanates and dynasties that we have talked about are the major one who ruled in Delhi, but 2-3 more will come, so please don't get confused. I will phrase once again the entire thing for you. Let's move ahead. Firoz Shah Tughlaq ascended the throne after Muhammad Tughlaq. So if we see Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq, after Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq it was Muhammad Tughlaq, and after Muhammad Tughlaq it was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So after the death of Muhammad Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq ascended the throne of the Tughlaq dynasty. However, that time onwards the Delhi Sultanate began to weaken. The regime of Tughlaq dynasty also witnessed the invasion and plunder of Delhi by Taimur. what happened after Muhammad Tughlaq, when Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he became the king of the Tughlaq dynasty, Delhi Sultanate become very weak in his tenure, and they have witnessed many many invasions and plunder. That means that during Firoz Shah Tughlaq, Delhi was being conquered, and plunder means looted by Taimur. Okay. Now next, the governor of Lahore, Shiraz Khan, took advantage of the chaos and established the Sayyid dynasty in Delhi. So during the tenure of this Firoz Shah, when Delhi was invaded by many people and it has been plundered by Taimur, this governor from Lahore, Shiraz Khan, he took this as an opportunity, that whatever chaos was taking place in Delhi, he established his own dynasty, that is called Sayyid dynasty in Delhi. The authorities of these sultanate was limited to the region around Delhi. In 1451 CE, an Afghan leader, Bahlol, established the rule of Lodi dynasty in Delhi. Now, whosoever dynasty came, okay, be it be the Sayyid, be it be the Tughlaq, be it be the Khilji dynasty, they were limited to the regions to Delhi and around Delhi. Then the new dynasty came into the existence, that is the Lodi dynasty, which was being established by an Afghan leader, Bahlol. Okay, his son Sikandar Lodi ascended the throne after this. Though Sikandar Lodi had qualities of a good ruler, he lacked religious tolerance. So after in Lodi dynasty, after Bahlol, his son Sikandar Lodi ascended his throne. He was a very good as a leader, but he didn't had a religious tolerance. Let's understand the concept of religious tolerance over here. Religious tolerance means giving respect to each and every religion, giving them a platform to explore, giving them that space within the kingdom to sustain, is called a religious tolerance. For example, if I am a Hindu, I will give due respect, due justice, I will talk in a very good manner to people belonging to different religion, be it be a Hindu, be it be a Christian, be it be a Sikh, Jain, whosoever it is, I will give respect to that religion. That means I am religiously tolerant towards other religion, which Sikandar Lodi was not. He was very keen towards his own religion. Okay, so this was not accepted by the others. A struggle for the throne began after the death, in which Ibrahim Lodi defeated his elder brother and became the ruler of Delhi. Now what happened? Then within these Lodis there was a conflict and a struggle for throne took place, in which Ibrahim Lodi defeated his elder brother and he became the ruler of Delhi. The Amirs were not happy because of his arrogant attitude. Now this entire chapter I am quite surprised. These Amirs were never happy only. They were not happy in this Razia Sultan's age, and they are not happy in over here also. So here also they rebelled against the ruler. Why? Because they were not liking the arrogant attitude. Amirs were not liking the arrogant attitude of these Lodis. There was a rebel in the kingdom against his rule. So Delhi was in complete chaos, complete mess. Okay. Now what happened next? Babur, the emperor of Kabul, invaded Delhi at this time. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Panipat 1526 CE and founded the Mughal emperor, which lasted for approximately 200 years. Now what happened? These small dynasties, these small sultanates which were established for a very short period of time, okay, create a lot of chaos in Delhi. Everyone wanted to conquer Delhi. Everyone wanted Delhi to be their capital, to be their sultanate. And in this entire chaos, this entire dynasties and entire sultanates, they existed for a very short period of time, very short period of time. At last, when Babur, the emperor of Kabul, he came and he invaded Ibrahim Lodi, and they established a Mughal emperor which continued for approximately 200 years in India. So then we have a great history which lies in the Mughal empire. And many a times when I as an individual person thinks and sit, then I feel that this Mughal empire, this entire Mughal empire has contributed to India a lot in terms of monument, in terms of art, in terms of literature. They have given us a great monuments. Monument means buildings, the old structures. And if we see the Ahmedabad city itself, then it is considered to be an heritage city in which this entire Mughal era, in this entire Mughal period, has contributed a lot. We will definitely talk about this when we will start our Mughal era or empire in our next chapter. Till now, thank you.